job in men's clothing. No, you're too effeminate. You're a faggot. You're a sissy. You're this. You're that. So I said, well, groovy. So I put on the clothes I usually wear, which is girls' clothes. I went out and tried to get a job as a woman.
Yes.
This doesn't work. You get a job, you work for a day or two, a week, a month, or whatever it boils down. Somebody comes along that recognizes you, who prefers to be a hooker and a tramp, turns around and turns your name into the boss and says, like, so-and-so is such and such, and that's the end of that job. So finally you reach a point where you get disgusted with the whole damn bit, and what you do is you turn around and you go out on the street. And you find out that you can make $100 tonight, and you say, well, the hell with it. Why should I be legitimate? Why should I be respectable? Why should I be anything? If society would let me live my life as I want to live it, which is as a respectable, normal, ordinary woman, period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wear mini skirts. I don't run around with my hair sticking 7 foot off my head and all the rest of the stuff that the queens do, which is a category that I'm classified in as being a common queen, period.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I cannot get away from it. No matter what I do, I'm put into this category. I'm labeled as this. So therefore, I went into the hooking. That was it.
Yeah, well,
it's that simple. Now, I'm not in a position where I have to hook anymore. I met a guy who understands what I am, who accepts what I am. He works. And I don't have to go out in the street anymore. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got office. I came out here on the West Coast. I went to L.A. first, and, well, I didn't like that particularly. You know, being an Easterner, I like the northern climate more or less, and out here in San Francisco, it sort of has the same thing as New York does, except I miss the snow and stuff, but other than that, it's about the same. And then, I think most important is that even though back east they're supposedly so cosmopolitan, and they're so, you know, they're just sophisticated, and they know the whole thing of what's going on in life, yet it boils down that they know so very little. Because out here we can more or less live our lives. There's very little harassment really out here.
It wasn't too many years ago when I went to the grocery store once and got thrown into jail for being a female impersonator. And I've never felt as though I was impersonating a female, and so I am a female.
Well, yeah, this is why I came out here, because you could do these things. Back east you could be it, but you couldn't do it. Out here you could not only be it, but you could more or less do it and get away with a certain amount of safety, as long as the police know that you aren't actually hooking and running the streets and so forth and so on. When they realize that we are sincere in our beliefs of going through the operation and becoming women, both physically as well as mentally, well, then they sort of leave us alone. They don't bother us. They allow us to live our lives. Where back east, I know we couldn't possibly do this.
I come from a, rather small town, a gold mining community, in fact, and it was a place where boys had to be boys, because that's all there was for boys to become, as boys. But I had a bad habit of, all the time when my mother wasn't around, I was always trying on her dresses, putting on her makeup, smearing my face with makeup and things. And I just felt better that way. And when I got out of high school, of course, went in the service, I did well, but I was miserable all the time, on leaves and liberties and things like that. I'd be running out and putting on skirts and makeups, long flowing wigs. It wasn't too many years ago when I went to the grocery store once and got thrown into jail for being a female impersonator. And I've never felt as though I was impersonating a female, and so I am a female.
Well, how's Eric doing? Fine.
Is he really?
Naturally. He's married to me. How else could he possibly do?
I don't know. I mean, he had so many problems.
I think we resolve that,
How?
Well, let's face it. It's obvious his home life wasn't very much in the first place. He was in service,
Mm-hmm.
And when I met him, that was back around,
few months ago,
I remember when you met.
and apparently things at home weren't going too well or something. I don't know. We've never discussed it really because I don't want to, bring up the subject. Let's face it, I'm working on dangerous territory. It's like walking across a bog of quicksand when you've got about a foot wide to walk on and you're afraid to make the wrong slip.
Yeah.
Apparently, whoever his wife was, and whatever she was, she didn't play right with him. And when he met me, I didn't mean to be unfair about the thing, but I hadn't disclosed to him that I was actually a male. I assumed that he knew. Of course, you know where I live, naturally, since you
Yeah.
live with me. That there I am right in the middle of the Tenderloin at Eddy Street,